Hi, this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle. Today I'm going to be working on a Penn Slammer 4. This is the 450G. It's a little bit of a Rough Rider. Ryan brought it in. It's just not as smooth as it should be. And we're going to take a look at the reel, see what's going on with it, and well, to get started we're going to remove all the external pieces and parts so that we can get to the gear case. Check that out. This one actually feels like it has a little bit of a gear grind in it. I guess we'll find out if it's just dirt and debris or if it's something more than that. I'm looking in here. We have a little bit of old grease in there, so there's a chance that that might have something to do with it. Okay, well, we've removed the spool, and as we continue by removing the handle, I'm going to encourage you to subscribe to my channel, particularly if you like to learn about fishing reels. If you like to see how they're serviced and repaired, how they're made, why they made them that way, how they're used, and well, just generally speaking, how to keep them running for a long time to come. And I want to encourage you to subscribe to the channel. And if you do subscribe to the channel, use that notification button. It'll let you know when I'm posting, and you can see if that's a video that you're interested in. This Slammer 450 is ideal for inshore ocean. It's ideal for deep lakes, for surf casting on rivers or lakes, and generally speaking, it's a nice reel overall. It says it's an IPX6. That means that well, you can spray a constant stream of water on it for some time and water will not get in. It's not the submersible rating, so if you're kind of going knee deep in the surf, this is not the reel for you. If you want water protection, you're going to need an IPX 7 or 8 on that. But this one's got enough water protection that an occasional spray or hosing or the like should keep you free from any internal kind of penetration or debris. Okay, well, this is probably, I'm going to say that this is running rough because that grease is probably old. It's got some dirt in it, and well, between the dirt and the grease and the like, it's probably slowing the reel down. So I think our first course of action with this one is going to be to clean it up, get it back to him, let him run it, and if he doesn't, if it doesn't feel like it's improved at all, then it may be a gear thing. I'm kind of doubting it's a gear thing right now because there's so much grease and oil on here that well, probably doesn't give the grease, doesn't give the gears an opportunity to break down from being dry. Now it could be a trauma kind of a thing, but as I'm looking at the gear itself, it looks kind of muddied, and that old dirt can cause that kind of a vibration that we were feeling. All right, inside the case here, we do want to remove the screw that's holding the crosswind block and axle together. And this is a time when I want to tell you to make sure that you take pictures along the way as you're doing this, so that you can have a backup plan should you forget where things go. We've just removed the axle shaft. That came out nice and easy, and that's something that you do want to test for as you work on the reel. If you're feeling a vibration, sometimes it's a bent axle shaft. So just be careful to look for all of those symptoms as you work on the reel. All right, now we have a little pin that guides the crosswind block on. We should just be able to lift this assembly up. This should just slide in and out. Again, a lot of dirt on here, so we're thinking now that it's probably just a lot of dirt and debris in this one. But I guess we'll see. You want to do a thorough examination of all of the pieces and parts. Excuse me, I have dry throat. And when you take those parts off, have a plan. My plan is to use a parts tray. I kind of separate the corners of the parts tray with the sub-assemblies so that I know where to go look for them when it's time to reinstall. With the axle shaft out, we should be able to remove the main gear. We've got a lot of junk on there, but the paths in the gear itself do not appear scarred. You want to look at it two ways. You want to look on the face this way, then you want to look at the peaks this way and see if there's any unusual wear on the gear. There's a lot of dirt again. I use the paper towels. They're disposable. They help me to wipe them down. And you do need to clean the gears in order to examine the teeth and the like for any kind of potential damage. I don't know what the material is that these gears are. It's a nice gear. It almost looks stainless. I can't say for sure. And what do we have here? We have something here. I don't know if that's braided line or what it is. I don't even know if you can see it. But that may be what's getting into the gear there. That came out in the... I don't know. Is anybody seeing this? It seems like line. I'm going to bet that could be it. Because the rest of it, again, when you look at this and say, well, what could possibly be causing the problem? And you see a grease-filled case. To continue, we want to take the oscillation gear out. That's held in by a big screw. Again, continue taking pictures at various junctions just so that you can have a reference point for the orientation, how you took it off, when you took it off, and how it was before you took it off, so that when you go back afterwards you can replicate the positioning, the orientation, and the sequence. Clean out the case. I use a combination of cotton swabs and other pieces, paper towels, the like. I try to stay as least abrasive as I can as I do this. So if no serious scraping is involved, just take your time. Mop it up. And you can see how this is water sealed. It has a ridge cut in here, and then it has a rubber band, kind of a O-ring design to keep that out. Okay, so the old timers used to do this. The old timers would grease load the cases, and those cases would become waterproof because if water ever entered the case, well, the grease was holding all the crevices and valleys and the like tight, so the water had no place to go to interrupt. But you don't need that on modern wheels because of the way that the modern wheels are sealed. Some people still like to do it anyway. It's okay. What's the danger? The danger is you walk away from the reel. You don't service it on a regular basis, and as a result of that, what happens, generally speaking, is that the grease dries out, the performance bogs down, and the reel doesn't perform as it should. All right, we're going to remove we've removed the collar, and now we're going to remove the rotor nut. I set the rotor off to the side. Now we have what is basically the Penn setup for the anti-reverse system and pinion gear. Here's a collar that has 3 screws on it. So let's remove those. And this is a particular place where you want to take the pictures. You want to take notes. I've had a lot of reels come in over the time because they got into this pinion gear stack and they did not replicate the sequence on the way back out. So just pay attention to that. Now it appears that these are equidistant in terms of the screw holes, and that this collar can probably go on in any of those 3 alignments. But let's just be sure as we take it off. I think we'll be fine with that. I'm going to leave that right there. It's only a collar. Here's your pinion gear assembly. Again, we've got this all kind of greased up all around, so we'll take a moment here to clean this as well. Slammer's a nice reel. The notion of the slammer essentially is that the drags are underneath, keeping them out of harm's way. Let's go look at the setup here. First up then is the collar that holds the bearing. You're going to notice on this that the bottom has an indentation on it. The top is flush, and on top of that there's a little washer that goes between that bearing and your rotor. And we have our anti-reverse clutch. Notice on the anti-reverse clutch, one side of it has got a metal shield that's facing up. The downside of it has a plastic shield that faces down, and inside that we have the inner sleeve or spacer that provides the tension for that. We have a smaller bearing on the bottom. These are sealed bearings. You can put a drop of oil on there, or you can leave them as they are. These are of course flooded with the greases. Won't do them any good, won't do them any harm. Alright, we're going to just take a brush and brush out the piece here, and I'm believing that these are stainless now, so that's the advantage of the slammer. I'm thinking now, looking at the gears and everything in it, that the issue with this is going to be that little piece of line that we found in there. Okay, let's put this back together then. We're going to use fishing reel grease here. We're going to use Penn Precision reel grease. That's the glue grease that I use. It's important to make sure that you're using fishing reel greases and oils when you do work on your fishing reels. Don't substitute other stuff. I had a question come in the other day, and somebody actually provided additional information on it. They said, can I use 3-in-1 oil on it, on a fishing reel? I said, sure, it's your reel, do whatever you want to do. I recommend fishing reel grease. And somebody came back to me and said, you know, 3-in-1 oil is a detergent oil. Well, you don't want to use a detergent oil in here. That's going to break down the oils and greases. It doesn't make any sense, right? So stay away from some of that unless you know the specific properties of the oils and greases. Just stick with things that have been specifically designed for fishing reel use. I'm going to take the clutch and put that back in. Remember, the metal side goes up on this one. I'm going to put the bearing back in. Remember that the indentation side goes down, the flush side goes up, and then we have that small spacer washer there. All of that gets loaded into the case. Now we can bring our clip over. And again, I believe that this just sits, any one of the 3 posts should be able to connect it. Okay, once you center your collar, let's take those screws, get them started. And while I'm doing this, if you have any questions on this reel or any reel, maybe you're working on one and you're stuck. I've had a couple of those questions come in recently. And if you're stuck and you need a little assist, just going to leave that question in the comment section. I will try to answer that for you. Alright, once you get that started, come over to the other side now. Don't tighten that first one down all the way, because you do need a little bit of wiggle room to get these other 2 to line up. You can come back and tighten it after you finish the second one, because the third one should be aligned at that point. Alright. I think this is actually serves as a sound deadener. A lot of the Penn reels that you open up will simply have a little triangular clip on it that's holding it down. In this case, a little bit more than that. This is a rubber top on it. It could also have to do with the IPX rating and the seal. It is a rubber piece, and water can get in on this side. Alright, we've put that back together again. Let's go back and grab some of these other pieces then. The next one in would be the oscillation gear. This has got a Teflon washer behind it. You want to check the teeth, which I've done, but I'll make sure to tell you to do that. Check the teeth, grease it up good. This oscillation gear is driven from the back side of the main gear. Once you put your grease on that, bring that over. And when you mount the oscillation gear, make sure you mount the post for the crosswind gear down low. The center screw on this one is that big, broad, flat top screw. Make sure you're in tight with that. Next up, we can bring the assembly that has the crosswind block and post. You only need to put a little bit of grease into this slot on the back and on that post. I'm going to bring this over, set that on the post on the one side and in the grooves here. That's how this is going to sit now. And then we can take our main gear, and again I just want to check that now because I found that piece of line in here. Just check to make sure that that's okay. It appears to be. Again, we're going to grease the inner teeth, which will drive the oscillation gear, the outer teeth, which are going to drive the pinion gear. And let's put all of that back together. We can put a little bit on the outside here, not much. All right, bring that in. Take a moment here. Clean some of that grease off. Then the next step is the rotor. If your bail is working, you do not need to remove the bail. Again, there are a lot of questions in on folks that have removed the bail for no apparent reason. Can't put it back together again. Just a light spray of that penetrating oil just to kind of loosen it up is fine. Hold your main gear. There is a plastic ferrule in here that acts as a guide for your axle shaft. Make sure that's in there and that it didn't come out. If it did come out, go put it back in. Line your pieces up. Bring your rotor nut on. Reverse the throw on your ratchet. If you're using a ratchet, grab your little wing tie down. And then we should be able to tighten these down. On some reels you'll find that there's a single screw that goes into a hole. In this case, because of that waterproofing there, they do the extra step. And providing that little rubber O-ring inside this one to keep the water out. I'll do one more over here. That'll complete that tie down. And this is the value of having this as a parts tray. You can just kind of look in there and know what you got or don't have, and then work accordingly. Okay, the axle shaft, we've wiped it off. It came out nice and clean. It is a dark colored axle shaft. That's not all grease on there. Just a light coating of grease. Anything else beyond that, you're going to wind up scraping off. Bring your axle shaft in and down. Then merge it with your crosswind block. And once you have it merged, you'll see your holes line up. We'll get that little screw. The little screw is going to go into the crosswind block and hold the axle shaft in place. Well, we have a lot less grease in this one now. We also have that little piece of line accounted for. So we can take our back end case. This one has the drive for the right hand side. Putting this on, and there seems to be a little gap over here, so I just want to check to make sure that this waterproofing O-ring is right. It is. I guess what will happen now, that little bit of a gap will pull in when you put that screw back in there. But check. It could be that it falls out of the gap. If it falls out of the gap, then you're going to compromise its function. Now you can use a couple of different screwdrivers on these side cases. You saw when I started this that I used a flat-bladed screwdriver. I think this is actually called the JIS type screw, Japanese Industrial Standard. And it has a little bit of a different opening there. Most of the time the Phillips head will suffice. You won't have to run out and get that JIS screwdriver, but if you like and you work on reels enough, you can. This is just a good old-fashioned Harbor Freight screwdriver here. Okay. They're all tight. Guess we're coming up on moment of truth here. Just put this back on for a moment. Put the handle on. We'll see if we took care of that annoyance. Alright, so what have we done? We took the reel completely apart, examined all the pieces and parts, did find a little piece of line in that gear wheelhouse that could contribute to the rough riding of it. We found an awful lot of grease in there. We took most of that out. Showed you how to properly grease and lubricate after you clean the reel. And well, we're ready for a run on this. Well, a lot less annoyance there, if you will. There's still a very minor feel to it, but maybe that's just me. It's nowhere near what it was, and I think that if there is an issue that's gear related now, it's possible that that line may have caused a little bit of a hurdle and some minor scarring on the gear. But overall, the reel is running in nice condition, and well, that's how to take apart, service, diagnose a problem, and correct that problem. This one being the Slammer, it's the version 4. Well, I'm going to go ahead and just pull that main drag washer out of here just to complete the service on this, but I think we'll tie the video up at this point. And thank our first responders, our police, fire, safety, rescue, everybody involved in keeping us out of harm's way. I do appreciate your efforts day in and day out. What I also appreciate is all of the channel viewers, all the folks that watch us on a regular basis, and those that are new to the channel. And I do want to encourage you again to subscribe to the channel if you like the art of reel repair and service. And if you like this video, please like it. And if you want to see more, use that notification button. That'll let you know when I'm posting. You can take a look at what it is that I've posted and see if that's something that you would like to watch. Okay, on the top end of this, just for fun, you have a single drag washer and a single metal plate. That's the top end, and underneath we have the same going on under this plate here. And as I mentioned, we'll come back and I'll do that one off camera, but did want to just point that out to you. This is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle, wishing everybody a great day.